not getting any money from it, but hey, who cares? Hey, we're actually streaming. We're the only one watching right now. So we're waiting on Tim. If you're joining us today and you see us eventually, or we're going to, of course, we're going to be recording this. Tim is having a little technical difficulties, so we are going to just go ahead and get on so we can talk, maybe go over a few things, and be all silly and dorky like we are. Let's do a small recap. We're going through hyperspace, if you can tell right now. Ooh, look at the cool background. Yay. I tried to find a video of hyperspace so I could play that in the background, but they wanted to charge us. Yeah. But they went, everybody has it, and they're like, oh, you can have it for $100. I'm like, no. I'll just do the little pretty picture. Yeah. So, y'all did get some XP and you started spending it. Dan, what'd you spend your XP on? Okay. So you definitely got some good leveling up there. Check. What'd you get? I wonder why you ranked up in Perry. Yeah. Oh, crap. They can only hear me still. Oh, well, great. Yeah, that's weird. Great. Let's see. Let me check on this. Settings. Audio. Let's see. Why is this being a pain in the butt? All right, who can hear me? Hey, Jackie and Max, say something so Thing from Space can understand. I know. You got 50 billion people. Still can't hear. What the heck? All right. That's the kind of reason why we need to figure these out. Okay. Yeah, so we're still missing Tim, so it's okay. All right. Speakers. Okay. Tim's still trying, guys. So we're just going to keep on going. We'll keep on working on this one. This should, default speakers should have taken it. We may have to restart and reboot, but whoa. All right, how about now? All right, guys, go wait till everything comes back up and let's see what happens. All right, start singing. The heck is going on? Huh. This is really, really weird. Settings. That's all good. Audio, we don't need a preview. Oh, hold on. How about now? Somebody sing.
Wake up. Now's the time to put a little makeup. Why'd you put the keys up on the table?
The delay is wonderful on Twitch. Ah, good. We got it now. Figured it
Awesome.
out. Okay. Just yeah. Last night I was streaming while I was painting, and so I didn't want my audio because I was listening to a book on tape, and I didn't want anything to come through, so I wouldn't get in trouble for copyright problems.
Also, they probably weren't listening for your book on tape.
No, because I'm actually on like book 3, part 3. So, guys, just so you know, we're having a little technical difficulty. Tim is having some issues, so we're just going to go over what everybody's done, do a little recap before we get started. Thanks for bearing with us, whoever's watching, besides Thing and me. And we're going to talk about who got what. Jackie Joyless, thanks for coming in. Oh, wait, we got electric
Oh,
skateboard?
that's me.
Oh, you're on here? I thought you were like Dumb Wizard or something.
Uh, I think this is an old one. I have so many. I
What a
forget
nerd.
so many passwords.
All right, who's electrical skateboard? If you're in there, just say hi, guys. Typically we will just respond. I'll respond to anything in Twitch, but we're gonna try to keep things going when we're actually get playing. So let's go back. We'll go back to the beginning. Again, what did you pick up, and what does it affect, and why did you pick it up?
Okay. I picked up Toughened, which gives me 2 extra hit points.
Woo! That's always good.
I picked up Rapid Recovery because I needed to pick up something from that column to get the next one down, which is Bought Info.
Okay.
Which is... check my book here.
I wonder if that's the one that I took and I forgot about.
Bought Info. Instead of making a knowledge check, I may take a Bought Info action, spend credits equal to 50 times the difficulty of the check to pass with 1 success.
Gotcha. So you're just spending extra money to get what you need done.
Yep.
Okay.
And I took a rank in athletics and a rank in brawl.
Which is understandable.
Because there's not a lot I can do in melee.
No. Yeah, you were mostly a gun guy anyway.
Yeah.
In this last encounter, I could see why you wouldn't pick that up. Fizz, what'd you pick up?
I picked up a couple things, but I forgot them, so I ranked up in parry.
Did y'all update these in the program so I can just download them when I need to or whatever?
I can send it along because I updated it in the program. I just haven't added it to the Facebook chat.
Okay. Yeah, just go ahead and add that in there to make sure get everything going. And
Okay.
we will, that way if I need to, I can look at it and we can get some stuff going on it. We're still waiting on Tim. So we'll have to wait and see how everything's going. Other than that, last we left off, y'all are headed to a planet on the outer rim to check out something about it being destroyed. And they sent out, 20 some odd other ships in the process too?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think like 30.
Yeah. A bunch of other ships to the different outer rim planets to find out why they're being destroyed and why communication has been gone. Because there was rumored that there were some pirates that were taking it out, but this is a large mass shot out to it. So we're going to see how that's going. We're going to wait on Tim to go anything further. Does anybody want to do anything or any questions about stuff that's going on?
Did Turk
Story-wise?
ever pay me?
Did Turk ever what?
Pay me.
No.
That's what I thought. I just
Nope.
wanted to make sure.
Nobody has paid. Nobody's been paid. Turk hasn't sent any money.
I assumed that the Jedi wouldn't get paid because they're doing this for the good of the Order and stuff, but...
No, you haven't asked or anything, so
Yeah.
no.
I was... Jedi are good on their word. I should trust them that they'll pay me.
But what have you learned about Turk?
Turk's not your normal Jedi.
No, he is not. Turk is definitely not your normal Jedi. So you don't have to worry about it. Maybe you can, you may want to ask him about that.
Yeah.
Frizz, did you need to do anything or say anything or whatever before we get started?
Yeah,
or
I
ask
just wanted to establish what we had on our ship. If I recall correctly, the civilizations lost contacts. They sent out several teams. and they let us board with Turk having blasters but no lightsabers.
That you know of, yes. Correct.
Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, you don't have any personal lightsabers. You don't have anything that's yours, typical type stuff. A7 hasn't said anything to you. The last thing he told you was that Turk wished y'all good luck, and he was not joining you, which is kind of... Y'all thought he was going to be there, I guess, but he wasn't.
What if we're just becoming red shirts?
They don't get to roll new characters over the weekend.
Hey. Talking about that, we will not be playing next week because everybody has some personal and other things, business to do. So it's no big deal. Maybe we'll get some cool new artwork from our artist.
That would be cool.
Is it me?
No, I don't know who's been doing our artwork.
Did you guys see the one today?
I did not see the one today.
You know what? Nobody did. It's pretty good. You should check
Is
it
it the
out.
one where you got Fizz leaning back and kind of chilling or whatever?
Yeah, I was originally going to have her doing the Vulcan salute. And I was like, you know what? That's how I'll kill my character today. So I won't do that.
Where'd
Yeah,
you
I saw
post
that. I think it's our personal.
On the book face.
On the book face.
The Book of Face?
On More Than Dice?
Or was it?
No, just on my... Am I your friend?
No, we're not friends on Facebook.
There you
yet.
go.
Oh, well, maybe I should friend you here quick.
What a very Nordic name you have.
It's German. So, Niebergall means in German to owe everybody money.
It does?
So I'm keeping my family name alive and owing everybody money.
If y'all want to go ahead and roll Force Dice so we can get Destiny points so we can get that out of the way.
There we go.
And then when Tim gets in, he can roll his. Way to go, Gand! Always doing it.
I'm lucky.
Jackie, did you already sign in?
Aren't
here
I
we go.
glad?
Yeah, look at all this.
Wow.
Aren't I glad I don't actually have force powers? I just pretend to use mysticism.
And stuff. So, okay, so let's go. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom.
3 points for Gonzo.
3 points for Frizz to use on dumb things.
Also, yeah, we actually talked after we got done playing last weekend. We actually talked, and I thought there was something we needed to do as a house rule, and using the Jedi's using dark force points to pull off the abilities. It is completely optional. I know the rules state that you don't have to. That you can't use dark side to do stuff. You can use dark side after you use a light side. And we decided to use and house rule it that they can use a dark side point to use a force power. They just got to be kind of reasonable with it, but it is optional. That way it's a little bit more tempting, especially if you need to use it in a pinch. And so you need to force push someone off and you're like, I can't roll, a white die. I can't roll a white one forever, and you just, of course, you eventually can't do it. But in a
Oh.
That was mildly terrifying.
That was pretty funny. But that was pretty funny, Jackie. In case for the people listening, Jackie's camera just fell. But that way they can use the force point, all right, I need to push this guy off a cliff or it's going to kill one of my characters. It's a violent act. I need to do it with blah, blah, blah. And so, boom, we've decided that would be something that would be usable and understandable to do. Other than that, story so far, hopefully Tim will get on here pretty soon. I'll check in with him real quick, see what he's doing.
Make sure that if we're vastly outnumbered and that there are force points available, I remembered that I suddenly had a thermal detonator in my pocket.
I wouldn't say you had a thermal detonator, but...
No, if he calls it before the session, it's not metagaming. Speaking of dark side points, so using a dark side point is kind of like tapping into the dark side. So would you say in-game role-playing wise that we would be tapping into our more emotional part
Yes.
of our
So
being.
yeah, if you
So
were
you'd want to
definitely
tap into angers or
yeah,
whatever.
I mean, for the most part, we'll just use it as an example. You're sitting there and Mal and some bad guy are fighting it out, sabers across each other, and he's about to strike Mal down because Mal's like on her knees, and you're about to strike out, and you're going to use force push against the person, and you roll it. Hey, it looks like Tim's going to be on pretty soon. Tim, no video, but we do have sound. Say something for us, buddy.
Can you hear me at this point?
Oh yeah, that's
We
actually
can
really
hear you
good.
now.
Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the video to work. I've been chipping away at this and it's not cooperating very well.
Okay. Well, at least you're on, and we could, maybe, we don't get to see your beautiful hair in person.
It's a really nice profile picture.
It is.
It's a bad hair day, so let's forgive it. So a couple of points of contrast. I obviously apologize for the technical difficulties.
You're fine.
There was a house fire on my block last night.
Ooh.
So there was a ton of smoke in the air, and I have asthma that I don't even notice 90% of the time. And all of a sudden it was like, you have asthma. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm not sleeping tonight. And then I went to work today, and the other manager at the store decided it was the day to clean out the entire back room.
Yes.
So I'm working the front, and the whole entire space is full of dust, and I'm just really having trouble breathing. So I went home this afternoon, and so I'm not in my office, and I'm now using my partner's laptop and broadcasting from a totally unfamiliar setup. So I apologize for all of those things. I always assume Skype will be easy to use, and it just never is.
Well, is it just video that you're having a problem with right now?
No, it took this long to get the audio setup working.
Huh.
Yeah, no, it's a pain.
Okay. Well, we can still play. It's not a big deal. You don't have to have videos. Audio is the most important part. Are you able to see? You're not able to see my. Are you able to see my screen?
Give me a sec.
Okay.
If
not, you
yes.
can watch us on Twitch.
I don't want to have this computer do more than it thinks it can. So
The little computer that could.
well, it's right. Laura's point she was suggesting earlier today that it's almost at the point where she can justify her company buying her a new computer, but not quite. So right now what I have is the standard Skype thing where it puts you all into a quadranted split screen, which is great because I can see the two of you really nicely. But the portion of this that is Gonzo's screen is it's a quarter the size I'd like it to be.
Okay, can you click on my picture, and it should make me larger, and you should hold on to that picture.
Yeah, that's what I'm used to doing, but now for some reason it just zooms it in a quarter of an inch or zooms it out a quarter of an inch. And that's not normal. Okay. There's a toggle. This version of Skype has a different way to set it up. Okay, great.
Yeah, you can just zoom in the screen really close. Like a huge close-up, Control+ on him.
Are you logged into the dice roller?
No, but I'm getting there.
Okay.
That is, sorry, what's the URL again?
dice.skyjet or skyjedi.com.
We're just going to add all of the Star Wars-esque things together.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it's Dawn of the Harbinger.
Yeah. And we're already streaming, by the way, so say hi to everybody.
So this whole experience of me being a somewhat embarrassing technological user, that's all recorded live for the entertainment of our friends.
Mm-hmm.
While we're live streaming, what's the password for the channel again?
I don't remember. Someone
I
text
just
him.
used my name.
Yeah, I don't think there was.
Yeah.
I don't think I set up one.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, good. I'm in. Let's dance.
All right. Give me a foresight point. Oh.
Some light
I'm
side points.
participating.
Ooh.
All right. So we were just doing recapping, and we were talking about using dark side points for force points. That we're going to go ahead and we were describing to some people that we're going to let you use the dark side ability to pay for your force abilities and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was and Jackie was asking about how if it's you tap into whatever is a negative side of the force, and we use the example that you're fighting some other lightsaber wielder and you're down on your knee and about to die, and that other lightsaber user is about to, strike you down, and she taps into force push, and she rolls like 4 blacks, that she taps into her anger side to shove him off the cliff, or whatever type thing. That way, it's able to. And we were just catching some people up because people were. We house ruled that. And we got caught up. Did you spend your XP? Are you holding on to your XP still, or did you spend any?
I'm gonna spend it, but my access to my character sheet right now is fairly limited.
Okay.
I believe, actually, I know for a fact that I'm gonna spend it on another rank in Reflect.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Nice, simple road to becoming more intelligent.
Okay. No big deal. So, like I said, we last left off. We were driving through hyperspace, and as you can see, we're driving through hyperspace. I'm going to use the screen to show up some stuff that's going to happen. Cool. Just for the gee whiz of it, because it's kind of neat and stuff. So, we last left off, like I said, Turk's not here. You're with A7. A7's taking you through hyperspace. And y'all are traveling and doing your normal things. You're just playing around your normal space travel, being bored. Playing games, or, of course, I'm sure Frizz is harassing A7 anytime she can. Gand, you do have a section of the spaceship that is, of course, fully atmosphered for you. Not a big sport section, but enough to be appropriate.
It's a broom closet.
It's a broom closet. And all of a sudden...
room closet you guys can't breathe in.
And all of a sudden that you feel the jerk of a stop of hyperspace. You immediately come out of hyperspace. And you can feel the little shudder of the ship. And it's, that you've dropped out of hyperspace.
I go up to co-pilot with A7.
All right. He's like, we have to recalculate our astronavigation because we have to go to a stop along the way. We received a signal from Mamik, which is the Chen Fan Jedi that y'all remember talking to. And we need to meet him at Eriadu. Eriadu. And you're going to be going to that section. So we just need to redo this. We had just dropped out of hyperspace. Gand, would you give me a navigation check and see if you can find us there? Standard difficulty. It is actually, the planet is pretty big. It's on the outer rim, but it's a large spaceport. Pretty, I would say not equivalent, but trying to be like Coruscant type spaceport. You try, you click it up, and you're like, what's the name of that? This is it, right? And A7 looks at you and goes, you're a pilot?
I'm a pilot. Astromechs are supposed to do this.
Mel wanders over and says, oh, if it's an astromech job, I could probably help. I'm pretty capable with machinery.
Can you chart us a distance and travel us to Eriadu?
Well, like human surgery and dealing with mechanics, that seems like something that a clever person could just do. So yeah, sure. Of course.
Not jabbing at you.
You're like...
I'm not a clever person. I'm a very agile person.
Okay, you sit there and you just like, oh yeah, you forgot to add the 1 or something like that and clicked it. And of course you're like, and it plots the course and everything. No problem. And you pretty much have where you're supposed to be going. And he's like, all right, let's get back up. And, everything's punched in and he hits hyperspace again and y'all head back out. He says it's probably going to take about 2 days to get there. No problem. Because we are going to be going to the outer rim. So if there's anything you would like to do specifically, let me know. If not, we can just fast forward 2 days. Nobody?
Nope, I think
I'm
we're ready.
sleeping.
You're sleeping?
Taking a short rest.
Go back to hanging out in the methane.
Okay. Y'all actually get to the city, and it is a very futuristic looking city. You can see the picture. Very
It's beautiful.
vibrant, very pretty, a lot of traffic, very much reminds you of, what you would see of a Coruscant. Very well traveled, ships flying in and out like crazy when you're coming in. And he says, all right, it's going to take probably about a day or two here. So if you want to hang out, do some stuff, I have to wait for Melmick to get to us. And we have to wait for where to meet him. For some reason, whatever he's doing right now is super, super secret. So I'm getting a little weird noise.
That was me. Sorry, my camera wants to be on the floor.
Oh, again.
Yes.
So, he's like, so we're going to have to wait here, get a message from him. Once we get a message from him, we will go pick up whatever he needs or do whatever he needs, and then we will get back hyperspace to the Outer Rim. Other than that, Frizz, stay out of trouble.
I'll do my best.
He just goes off, and you can see him. He walks down the platform, goes off and pays some fees, and does what he needs to do. So you roughly have about a day or two, give or take. You do have communicating devices that you can communicate with each other over, short distance, but not, interplanetary. So if there's anything you would like to do or go see, you may do that now.
Well, Mel doesn't really have any money or any resources, and she's a little bit intimidated by a planet like this. So she's probably going to hang back at the ship or maybe follow someone else if they've got something that they want to do especially, but not strike out on her own with any kind of confidence.
No problem. It can be a little intimidating. I mean, it's the bright, flashy lights, understandable.
Yep.
Gand?
I am going to make good on A7's request and stick to Frizz like glue to make sure that she doesn't get into trouble.
Okay. Frizz.
Oh, man, I think I have 3 coins on me, so I guess I'm going to go get some kind of sticky bun. That's really all I can do with 3, I think.
Okay.
Did he tell? Did we have a specific place we were supposed to go, or we're just waiting for the time?
You're just waiting for the time.
Pass for that. Okay.
He
I'm making you guys waste your time over here and watch me eat a sticky bun.
No, we're into it.
Eat some street food.
Good.
Okay. Yeah, I'll start kind of walking around, and of course, this is. I mean, it is the bright flashing lights. It is, so many different races, even races that you've never seen before, are starting to pop up. There you go. We got a little audio issue, guys. And things are happening all around you, left and right. People are moving in. People are hawking wares. You can see, it's like you're a sensory overload right now. All around you, things are happening. The air is buzzing with vehicles. Excuse me, I got a burp. Vehicles. Everything's going around. You actually find a stall that if you wanted to buy some street food, you may buy some street food. Frizz, what do you want looking for?
I'm definitely buying some street food.
Okay. Gand, you hear a beep on a communicator within your right ear.
This one is listening.
You are now given a few credits. You hear A7's voice. I need you to pick up supplies. Stuff for, let's say, camping. You're going to need some outdoor survival gear. You have 1,000 credits. You can hear, he's like, just use this, and here's your credit portion. Find us some stuff that would help us for wilderness and desert survival.
This one will do that.
Don't let Frizz near the money.
This
All
one
right.
had no intention of letting the little one near the money.
Okay. And then it clicks off. Frizz, you find this piece of food, and it's kind of like an electronic stick, and on it, the food is cooking on the stick. And you're not sure what type of meat it is, but it definitely is sizzling, and it's got like a little bit of, sauces dripping on it and stuff. And it's definitely, it smells good, but you're not sure what it is. And he's like, they're like, 2 credits.
2 credits. All right. I need some protein. Frizz is going to exchange 2 credits
Okay.
for the mystery meat. Let me write that down. 2 credits down. Do I get it on the stick?
Yes, you eat it on the stick.
Awesome. I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to shove it in my pocket. And I'm going to go.
All right, you shove this meat. Are you taking the stick with you?
Yes.
Okay, you shove this in your pocket, and all of a sudden, your pocket starts warming up, and it starts burning because it's actually cooking still on the stick.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Darn it, I don't even have my lightsaber on me.
You've seen other humanoids do.
All of a sudden, you'll see she's walking down the street, and all of a sudden, her pocket is like, she's like twitching, and all of a sudden, there's like an issue with her leg, and she's like, ah, 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 and you can see that your leg is pretty much on fire.
Oh, man. Well, I'm going to try to be cool and remove the stick as quickly as possible. Try not to burn my hand.
Okay.
I'm willing to do a cool check for that.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay. Where is cool at on my chart here? There we go. Oh, I am ranked in cool because I'm just like that.
Boom.
Oh,
So
You didn't
fly.
roll any purples.
Oh, no. What is it? 1 purple?
2 purples always. Yeah, so just redo the roll. Oh, yeah, that's okay. That's fine. You pull it out, no problem. I have it turned off on the screen because I wanted y'all to see the city. You pull it out real quick, and you're like, I meant to do that. And you can eat, the meat off of it or whatever. But it's definitely, you can tell that the stick is meant for heating stuff up.
Before I try to give it back to him, is there a way to turn off that stick?
Yeah,
Might
there's
wanna
a
see
button.
Well, I'm going to turn it off and save that sucker for later.
Okay. You turn it off. Are you going to eat it or are you going to shove it back in your pocket?
It's going back in my pocket.
Okay.
Back in my pocket.
I'm also going to look over to you, Gond. Who were you talking to? Or were you just talking to yourself?
I was talking to the great spirits of the universe.
Oh.
They tell
All
us
right.
that we need to find desert gear.
Oh, yeah, you don't say. All right, well, I will follow you if you want to get some desert gear, but I have 1 currency, so I'm done for the day.
My payment came through.
Oh, good. Did you sell something?
I find things.
Oh, I see. You found some money. Okay. All right, money bags. Go find your desert stuff. I'll be hanging out with you.
Mel's gonna follow the finds person and see if she can't find herself some desert gear too.
Okay. Again, you have 1,000 credits. All you gotta do is use the credit stick and do what you need to do. Up to you what you want to get. Other than that, guys, I mean, you can see he's definitely like looking and trying to find some stuff. He's going up and down the wares. Other than that, you're just gonna hang out with him until then.
Yeah, I mean, Mel's gonna ask a couple of questions. Like when he starts picking things up, she'd be like, "Why do we need that for a desert planet?" Like that sort of thing. She's kind of new to all of this, so her approach is usually ask questions until someone tells her she's being too annoying.
Okay. All right.
How many days do I think we're going to be on a desert planet?
You don't know. He didn't say.
3 of us.
You can see him. He's like looking at some wares and he's counting. You can see, the calculations. He's like using his fingers and he's like, yes, trying to figure out what he needs.
I need 35 ration packs.
Okay.
No, wait, that's divisible by 3. 36 ration packs.
Okay.
3 tents.
Okay.
3 sets of climbing gear.
Okay.
a fusion lantern.
Okay.
Sorry, let me do my mouth.
Do we need like cloaks or boots or anything?
I assumed
Or maybe water.
water was in the ration packs. I don't see a price for water.
All right, maybe just need to buy some extra.
Yeah.
So he actually, you're gonna actually spend probably quite a few hours doing this, getting the appropriate gear, getting what you need to do, and then heading out. So, Gad, while you're trying to figure that out, you're going to spend the appropriate amount. Just make a list of what you need. Make sure you spend under the 1,000. And you can head back to the ship because A7 eventually is like, all right, we're going to be meeting him tomorrow morning at a certain spot, and then we will get on our way.
How much does water cost?
Just take half of the ration.
Okay. And we will... Is that a day's worth of water for a half a ration?
Yeah, day's worth of water.
Okay.
While they're doing that, I'm just going to be aimlessly walking around seeing if anything for 1 credit pops out at me.
Okay.
I might want to buy.
Yeah, you eventually find a little trinket. It's like a little tiny little stone that's been carved. That a little tiny.
Is it a turtle?
It's not a turtle.
I'll buy it anyway. All right, I got dumb trinket.
Okay. Dumb trinket.
Could matter.
Just keep up what you're spending and how much.
Yep.
And if there's anything else that y'all need to do, if not, you can head back to the ship and wait for the morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the ship.
Okay.
And take a short rest till morning.
Okay. You have actually, when you get back to the ship, A7 is already there waiting on y'all. And he's like, all right, all we got to do now, guys, is wait in the morning. So there's nothing that you need to do. We can advance the story unless there's something specific.
I'm gonna point out to A7 my really nice trinket and say, hey, look, I didn't steal this. Carry on.
He looks down and you can see he kind of peers at it and goes, why would you want to anyway?
Oh, A7, you're so mean.
That was hurtful.
I was gonna stifle a giggle at that.
All right, he takes and he locks up the ship for the night and he's hunkers it down and is like, all right, other than that, we will see everybody in the morning. Gander, you still buying stuff that you need to buy?
I've almost got it figured out.
He's literally shopping till he drops
Okay.
right now.
No biggie. Just like I said, just keep track of it. Not a big deal.
That's the reason why I'm keeping it in the Skype chat.
Gotcha. That's good. The morning comes around and A7, Mel, you get woken up. And you get a little nudge and A7, you can tell A7 is trying to not, he's trying to be super, super quiet. And so he just kind of nudges you awake to and kind of holds up a finger. Gand, you get a slight small tap on your door. Make a perception roll. Difficulty of 3 greens. Or 3 purples, excuse me.
Okay. Do I perceive anything? Perception is one of those and one of those. I hear it, but I hit my head.
You hear it and you open and you've cleared the room off before you open the door and you clear it up and you're like, yeah, what do you want? Really loud. Frizz, make a perception roll. You have only you actually freak out, Mel. You get a little startled.
Oh yeah. Mel gives a bit of a yelp before quickly silencing herself. She's not very comfortable being touched at all.
You get. Wait, you didn't let me finish.
Oh,
What's that?
don't look at it.
Don't look at it. Give me that, but you get 3 purples and a black.
Okay. I am ranked in perception.
Nice. Ah! Okay. You're still asleep.
Oh,
As soon
I'm
as you say
snoring
something,
blissfully.
yeah. As soon as you come out the door and you say something, A7 puts his hand over your communicating device on the front of your helmet before you can say anything more, and he's like, "Shh." And he's like, "We gotta leave quietly. Don't wake Frizz."
This one nods.
And then Mel, same thing to you. Don't wake Frizz. And then they start heading out.
Mel's gonna move very, very quietly, try to follow A7. She's really anxious at this behavior.
Okay.
She really wants to wake Frizz.
If you're trying to be stealthy, you can. If not, just be cautious. If you're trying to make noise, let me know. If not, we'll just keep going with it.
No, trying to be stealthy.
Okay.
Being cautious.
Okay. If you're just being cautious, it's no big deal. If you're trying to be stealthy, it's definitely a roll because you're trying to get on and off the ship.
Okay, what's the roll like?
It's a stealth roll.
Okay. That's a thing.
Yeah. So you get off and you go to close the ship door and you hit the button, the hatch and stuff. And Frizz, make a perception roll, only 2 purples.
All right.
You wake up and you're like, what was that? Oh, nothing. All right. So y'all get up and Frizz, you're still asleep. And y'all 3 start walking. And he's like, I didn't want to bring Frizz. She may have a problem with this. We don't want her to be here when this happens. So.
This one needs to return 55 credits to you, by the way.
Oh, did you pay? Okay. Just put it back on there.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, why would Fritz have a problem with this? And why wouldn't we?
She would have a problem with this because she can't keep her mouth shut. And we got to be careful.
I may be skilled, but unlucky. She is unskilled, but lucky.
Because I need you 2 for protection when we find Melmick. Or Maymick. So I need y'all to just look out while I handle what he needs to be handled with. All right?
Mel's gonna keep as calm a demeanor as possible and have her lightsaber at the ready.
You don't have a lightsaber.
I have a really bad training lightsaber.
There you go.
To misfire.
A training lightsaber.
It looks like a lightsaber from a distance, and that's what matters here.
It's got a little red tip on it.
that Mel has skillfully painted black.
Yeah,
To make look not like a training lightsaber.
that's how you upgrade. The Padawan graduation ceremony is just a bunch of black paint.
It's just duct tape.
All right, y'all head off, and y'all are gone for pretty much about an hour before he goes, Gand here, Mel here, and he points to certain areas. Keep an eye on me.
Mel takes her position and keeps her eyes peeled.
Frizz,
As she can be.
make a perception roll. Only 1 purple. Okay. You like shoot up out of bed and go, I'm starving. I've been sleeping for a long time. Your hunger is
Oh,
overtaking you, you know, your typical always eating type thing, and it's overtaking you, and you wake up because you're hungry. What are you
I'm
gonna
going
do?
to get up and nearly collapse at my door because the hunger is so intense. I haven't eaten in about 4.5 hours. I'm gonna look around, gonna take a little bit of my pocket meat with me and munch on that. I guess I'm gonna try to go bug A7 and see if he has foodies for me.
The spaceship is actually eerily quiet. Nothing's happening. Even the droids that, you know, some of the astromechs and other things that you've had around the ship are not even here or making any noise. It's like a ghost ship, pretty much.
Ugh, I don't like ghosts. Well, darn. Uh, so after she wanders around for a few minutes, she's gonna clearly realize that there's nobody else hanging out on the ship, and I guess leave. Try to see
Okay.
if it's daylight and she didn't realize or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely, you know, besides the normal hum and whistles and everything of a spaceship that's running, you know, under its, you know, shutdown power type stuff, it's pretty much nobody's here.
They went and got breakfast without me.
Okay.
I'm going to angrily march out of the ship.
You go up to the ship and you go, "Dit, dit, 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 dit,
Oh,
dit, 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 dit," and it's like you're locked in.
Hmm.
I'm gonna pull out the little piece of paper in my pocket with the password. And be like, yeah, I was doing this right. Oh man, what the heck? They really did get breakfast without me. I think it's because I'm broke. Uh, well, heck, if I'm alone on the ship, I'm gonna go see if there's something that can fit in my pockets.
Okay. Go ahead and walk around. You can give me a search roll if you're going to look for something particular, or actually a perception roll.
A perception roll.
Yeah. Or
I'm going
if you're
to-
looking for something specific, let me know. If not, if you're just looking for something just a pocket, don't worry about a perception roll.
Okay. Yeah, I am a kleptomaniac, and we don't really care what we steal, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna roll.
All right. So you're just like, oh, this looks shiny, and you like throw it in your pocket.
I
Go
acquire
back.
one shiny object.
Gand and Mel, you eventually, after about 15 or so minutes, you see A7 standing by this vendor, and you do see Mamek, which you would think of because of how short-statured he is, walk up, and you can see them two converse for a little bit. He hands A7 something in his hand. It's not like it's hugely, you know, brought in the open, but it's more casual-like, and then he goes off and walks in another direction. A7 turns around, walks back, and says, "Okay, when you go back to the ship, keep an eye, make sure nothing around us is happening."
I'm going to be vigilant.
Okay. Give me 2 perception rolls. Or one each, I should say. Sorry. Okay. Mel, you do notice, and Gain, you notice, but the wrong person. Mel, you noticed someone walking that is actually kind of trail you.
Okay. Mel's gonna just kind of hang back from the group a little bit
Uh-huh.
and sort of create a little bit of space. If by hanging back she lets her companions kind of cover the distance and round a corner before, you know, this person can see where they're going, like if she just kind of creates some space and then adds more space to the person following them, all the better. If the person tries to kind of overtake her and continue to keep the lead, she's going to try to engage them.
Okay. You can definitely tell if they're staying pretty far back.
Okay, well, she's
And-
going to do the same thing. She's going to just try to keep that space, and she's going to surreptitiously use her communicator to talk to A7 and say, there is somebody following us. Maybe take a bit of a different route back to the ship. I'll meet you there.
Okay. A7's like, okay, we'll continue on. Just keep that person in your eye and let us know if anything happens. And you can tell that they're definitely taking a different route back, and easily no problem. You sit there and you notice that the person that's following you, Tim, or following y'all, has stopped at a vendor.
Okay. Mel's gonna try to just kind of watch them from a distance, surreptitiously observe their behavior, see what the vendor is, just kind of maybe take some mental notes.
Okay. You do that, and eventually you notice that person buys a couple of things and then walks off away from where y'all were.
Okay. Mel's gonna kind of keep busy herself at the booth, kind of doing nothing for 20 minutes or so, and then she's gonna double back on a different route again toward the ship.
Okay. You go back, you get to the ship, no problem. You don't see anything else out of the ordinary. Going back, and Ganda and A7, y'all make it to the ship, no problem. And he punches in, something, hatch opens up. Frizz, make a cool check.
Frizz is too cool for school. Two difficulty?
Yes. You're sitting there and you're like, and you jump and startle as you like drop something. You're like, I didn't touch it. But you're like you're like really cool about it. Because you hear the hatch open up and you put it down before anything happens.
Okay, yes I do. I'm just gonna slink away for a second.
Yeah, and you kind of back out and you're like, you can just sit on a couch being,
Nothing happened here at all.
No. And so you use that. A7 is like, what have you been doing here all by yourself, Frizz? Why didn't you get up when breakfast was ready?
I'm gonna lean far back. Say, don't you tell me about breakfast. I didn't think I'd be two-timed by my own crew for some flappies. Did you get a to-go bag?
What about it? I mean, we ate. I mean, they ate, and I just, sat there being a good host. Doing what a good protocol droid does.
You guys know I'm poor.
You could have ate what was on the ship. We didn't want to wake you. We know how cranky you get when you don't sleep.
Well, good. I do get cranky. I am going to go eat on the ship. I'm going to go storm off to the pantry and settle for whatever's in there.
Okay. You pretty much are going to be hitting hyperspace now. He's like, all right, let's go ahead and go to Klestiv, which is a planet that you're supposed to be visiting and checking out what happened to the destroyed area. No problem. And so he punches in navigation, and y'all head up. It's going to take you about another 2 days during this, so if there's anything else you want to do, ask. No problem, let me know. If not, we jump forward 2 days.
Mel's gonna try to find a moment where she can talk to A7 sort of on his own.
Okay.
Maybe like just a quiet moment when like Fitz isn't around. Maybe when everyone else is asleep or something like that. And she's gonna ask A7 who he met with and what you're trying to get.
I can't tell you what it is. That is Melmek. You've met him before. He's the Chandran, the Chadra fan. They're the bat-looking guys. Little sneaky Jedi that works with Turk. He tells you that's who it was. And other than that, I can't tell you anything else, man.
Okay. You'll excuse me having some trust issues given the last person we trusted when we were researching ended up betraying us.
I totally understand it. Yeah, no big deal. Gand, you don't seem to see anything wrong with your room.
Gand couldn't remember if he had remethaned his room after he left.
That's okay. You notice nothing out of place.
But we left the klepto on the ship, so I wanted to make sure.
Fortunately for you, the klepto also didn't know if you reconditioned your room before you left. So
remethaned your room is that's an expression of sorts.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Okay. You sit there and y'all are flying for about a day. About the middle of the second day, Frizz, A7 walks up to you, clicks on a monitor and goes, and you see it's footage from the inside the ship. Put it back.
I was just looking at the shiny objects. I dropped it, and my force power is just kicked in like a second instinct, and it just flew to my being so quickly and then I forgot.
If a droid could scowl, you would definitely see it in his face. You can hear a
I'm gonna
little
try
buzz.
to walk away without giving back the shiny object. See if like little magic tricks distract him.
He's like, put it back, Frez.
I put it back. I'm gonna cross off my shiny object from my item list.
Okay. Pretty much everything goes okay the rest of the day. And then he's like, all right, we're pulling into this planet. He gives you a little information. This is a really small outer rim trading planet. Very, very small community. There was only roughly maybe 200 or so people that they believed within the planet, and the city, which is only roughly about 200 people. No communication from this area. They believe that this is one of the planets that got hit. And like I said, it's a very, very remote area. He says we can land, actually, if we do a flyby and check to see if everything is okay.
Yeah, I say we do a flyby.
Okay. Y'all get down back into the atmosphere, and y'all kind of do a circular flyby of it, and you can tell there's smoldering bits all over the place. There are, just from a quick glance over it, you can tell that there's been some type of devastating combat done here.
Mel's more than a little anxious. She's never really seen large-scale combat before, although she's read about it in books, recurring theme. But she's horrified at the destruction and a little intimidated that this is what they're getting involved in.
Okay. No problem. Understandable. It is. He eventually lands just right outside the town. Doesn't attempt going into any type of port, but just enough that it's just a simple, not even an hour walk, like 20 minutes or whatever. And as soon as you land, he opens up the hatch and he's like, you might want to have weapons ready just in case.
Do I get weapons? I shout out quickly.
You didn't bring your blaster?
It got confiscated from her the last time she had one.
No, that's right. He
Mel's not
hands
ready
over a
for
little
training
little
lightsaber.
blaster pistol.
Okay, I ready my little blaster pistol.
Okay. Mel.
Melokia pulls her training lightsaber out and readies it.
All right.
She's not going to turn it on inside the confines of the ship, but she'll wait till the door opens.
Okay. You get down and out of the ship, and all of a sudden, you can see these black billowing smoke. Carnage is all over the place. There are plenty of things that are destroyed. Buildings and rubbles. You can tell that there was some type of mass damage done, but not mass damage from like ships being flown into it. Not huge blasters, not like planetary or, starship type blasters. These are very precision struck damage. Give me a perception, and this is going to be y'all walking through the place for about an hour to try to figure out if anything stands out. Standard difficulty.
There's that threat again.
That's the old Gan charm.
Yep.
All right. 2% for sand people. Good one. Mel, you look around and you're just like, yeah, this is pretty much, yep, this is devastation. You're kind of too shocked to realize what's going on. It's something that you haven't seen before, and it just kind of blows over. Gand, you're like, yep. Yep. Frizz, you're like looking and checking it out, and you notice that this isn't blaster fire at all. None.
Oh.
This is actually precision cut straight from sabers.
Oh.
That this is definitely a saber cut through mechanical things. There is no blaster fire whatsoever. no singe marks from blaster fire. It is all straight. You can tell they're fused, between anything that was cut is definitely there. Everybody give me one more perception roll and only a 1 purple difficulty on this one.
Oof. Nothing gets past these eyes.
Still a threat.
And you can never get away from that threat.
No.
Okay. Y'all are looking around. Gans, you're just like, yeah, I see that it's, this is not blaster fire. Mel and Frizz, y'all are looking around. Something's not right. There's no bodies.
Oh.
I'm gonna yell out really quick. Hey guys, there's no bodies here.
Would they have taken the bodies? That doesn't. Why?
Don't know. A7 is just kind of recording and just kind of humming and hawing with you and keeping up with all the information. You eventually spend probably about 2 to 3 hours here going through the place. You do find a body or two. You actually find a couple bodies of older men, and looks like they have had weapons of some sort, and they have actually been cleaved through or killed, and you can definitely tell it's saber damage.
Mel's gonna contemplate if she's read anything in the history books or in the Jedi lore that she's studied about, like maybe a tribe or a cult of saber wielders or force users who care about like the bodies of their, the people they've attacked, or like preserving them, taking them, or sacrificing them, or anything like that.
You'll definitely need to do a Jedi lore, and that's definitely going to be since we're pretty far in the future, and we're still relearning about Jedi stuff. Definitely 2 purples and a black.
All right.
You're like,
Crap.
damn. You're like, yeah, there was this one group of saber wielding people, and you got this whole background history, but something's not adding up. You recall a specific type of race and everything of people that did wield sabers, but there is definitely not what this is. Something's not right with what you found and what's here.
Okay, I've read in the past about and I don't remember what they're called, but there were like cults or tribes or sects of force wielders. A lot of this was lost in the history, but who cared about the bodies of the fallen or their own fallen, or who would perform kind of bizarre acts of the force on the deceased. But this doesn't look like that. Something's not adding up here, and I don't know if it's that I haven't read the appropriate texts, if this is some kind of modern perversion of an ancient ritual, or if I'm completely out on the wrong limb here. But this feels disturbingly familiar, but also wholly unknown to me.
Speaking of unfamiliar, so you guys, I'm no thinker, but if I recall, whenever we were back there on that broken ship down stuff, there were some empty robes in the middle of that battle room. Just throwing it out there.
Now that's an observation put in this context that's even more disturbing.
I'm disturbed.
Okay.
Yeah, with good reason.
You eventually, like I said, y'all are searching this, and like I said, it's only 200 people, so it's not a huge town. And you noticed that there are plenty of different things, but there's some writing on the wall, and you don't recognize it. Hey, you're not disturbed, Dan. You didn't roll any. You like kind of keep calm. You're not shaken by this. But you do find some writing on one of the walls. You don't know what it is. And you can tell that it was placed there not by the people living here. It's
Oh.
in a
Feels more
strange
recent.
text.
Friz is gonna pull out her piece of paper that had the password to the
Uh-huh.
ship written on it, and she's gonna jot on the back approximately what those symbols looked like for
Okay.
later.
You can. No problem.
Yeah.
Mel's gonna glance over her shoulder and correct her when she doesn't appropriately copy the text.
Okay.
Are they in
a-
a Yerbesh, or are they in? Is it that the symbols themselves are foreign, or that the words the symbols are making are foreign?
the symbols are foreign.
Okay.
Not like a wrong dialect or whatever, but the symbols
Mhm.
are foreign. So, other than that, guys, if you want to do any more searching, let me know. But you come to the conclusion of this planet that there's definitely something happened here. They've taken bodies or captured alive, and they were sabers used, and there is some foreign writing on the wall.
Gand wants to look and see if there is, say, a village armory that may still have stuff in it.
You search out. There's not really an armory, so you don't have to. This is very outer rim, very countrified type place. So it's mostly just shops and people that live here.
Okay.
Other than that, A7 takes information and says, "I think we got what we need. We need to head to the next planet."
Good, because I am too disturbed to stay here any longer.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
actually
this is-
eerie, creepy.
Unsettling.
Yep. He loads up, and he's like, you can see that he stands next to the console of the ship, pushes some buttons, and you can see him like pause for a little bit, and he's like, guys, we have 5 more planets we have to find after this next one.
Ugh.
Uh,
Very well. I guess. Let's go.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I hope they all don't look like this. This is draining. There's something horrible that happened here.
Yep. Definitely. You can feel the eeriness and the destruction that's coming from it. You go off to another planet. It's going to take you about a day or so. If anybody is in the pilot seat, make a perception roll. I'm going to clear all this stuff for us real quick.
I am definitely not in the pilot
I
seat.
would be.
I'm in the pantry seat.
Mel's probably quietly meditating by herself, contemplating the destruction they just witnessed.
Okay. Gand, you're like, something's wrong with that coordinate you just put in. You definitely know that something's different about what he just put in. Because he told you he was going to Frolia, and something wasn't right about the coordinates for an outer rim planet.
A7.
Yes.
What are you doing, A7?
Planning
That's
the
not a coordinate for an outer rim planet, A7.
It's because we're moving in. We're not going out.
Trying to think about what kind of roll I could make right now to see how far in that planet would be.
Give me navigation. That would help.
Okay.
You're like, not sure. But you definitely know that you're going away from the outer rim and you're heading back in. This one takes roughly about another 2 days or so to get there. And you do the same thing. You do a quick flyby. It is another small place. He says probably 200 to 500 people, give or take. And you land, and you see the exact same thing. No bodies. Very few, I gotta say, very few bodies. And the ones you do find definitely are destroyed by sabers. Are killed by a saber strike, and you see that same writing again on the side of the wall.
Mel's going to examine the writing again this time. Is it exactly the same or just very similar
Exactly.
characters?
No, it is exactly the same.
Some kind of cult or something.
Then you're like, nah, Jedis wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Mel's going to see if anything she knows about Jedi lore or about ancient religions or traditions or even just linguistics clues her into what this writing is about.
Okay.
It's familiar or seems like anything she's ever seen before.
This is definitely going to be a red and a black.
So red, purple, black?
Red, purple, purple, black.
Okay.
You sit there and you're like, this is a very ancient language. Definitely nothing in the records from what you can gather right here, but you definitely know that this is a ancient language that has been extinct or died off. You just don't know who had it at one point.
Okay.
You find like a symbol that matches some far off document that you can't figure out right now with the limited amount of resources you have.
Okay. Mel's going to take a very, very careful etching of the symbol, and she's going to make a note about it. She's going to do a little bit of her own field work and see what she can record and take that back, presumably when they return to the libraries.
Okay, you take that back, and like I said, it's the exact same thing. A7's like, let's head to the next one. And co-pilot, give me a perception roll. You still have no clue what's going on. Nothing. And you get to this one, he doesn't even tell you the planet name. And the population is getting bigger. This one's probably about 500 to 700 people type. And it's destroyed the same exact way. Same exact thing, same writing all over it.
As soon as we land, Mel's already disinterested in the expedition. She's already sure they're going to be seeing the same thing and feeling really anxious about it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's almost like from boots on the ground, ready to go back into the ship and just get to the next planet.
Okay.
And as soon as they do complete their investigation and get back on the planet, she heads directly for the cockpit. And when A7's keying in the coordinates, she watches very, very carefully to see where he's going, and she says, at this point, should we just go to the farthest in planet?
Go ahead. He punches in another coordinates. See if you can figure out what he's punching in.
Is this astrogation?
Yes, if you have astrogation, it's easier. Otherwise, a perception roll.
Yeah, astrogation. So is that one purple?
That is 2 purple, standard difficulty.
Okay.
You notice as you click it and you look at it, you're like, A7, why are we going back to the inner planets?
This kind of confirms a theory Mel had, which is that if the people on Korriban are really anxious about this isn't just some people who disappeared on a mission. This is a sort of present threat, and it's obviously getting closer. She watches the coordinates be keyed in, and then she just sort of puts a hand on A7's shoulder and says, we're here to investigate 5 planets. Why don't we go to the 5th one, the closest one?
Okay. You go to the 5th one, and all of a sudden you hear a comm link come over your over the channel, and it's definitely someone from the Jedi Council. And A7 pops it over and is like, we need you to report about what you've seen so far.
We just arrived at the last planet. Surely you'd like us to investigate this. Or
What planets have you been to?
we relay the list of planets
Okay.
so far.
All right.
And we tell a little bit about our findings, and also that these coordinates are getting closer and closer, which they obviously already knew.
Yeah. I mean, it's still pretty far away, but you can tell this is moving in. What about the language? Are you going to do anything with the writing that you found?
Yeah, Mel's gonna tell them that they saw a really unfamiliar language and would like to research it more back at the libraries. It's definitely ancient, as are the practices of the people who've wiped out these towns and villages.
Okay.
And but they echo with some kind of familiarity that she can't quite put her finger on.
Okay. All right. He says, all right, go ahead and continue to that fifth one we have you on, and we'll get back to you after you found what's going on there. This one takes a little bit longer to go. This one takes about a week to get there, because it's kind of off the path, but it's still further in. And I wouldn't say it takes a week in time. It just takes you a week to get there from where you are, just because it's taking so long to go through hyperspace.
Sure.
And you get to the planet and you're seeing the exact same thing, but this is now like a planet that had 10,000 plus.
And we're still seeing the same thing, like no real bodies.
Of course, you're seeing more the more people you have there, but you're definitely not seeing 10,000 dead people. You know what I'm saying?
After A7 says 10,000 people, Frizz is going to quietly turn over and vomit in her cloak.
Okay.
She is so tired of this.
This is definitely coming up to be a lot more than... This is not just a random thing. This is definitely not space pirates or, a roaming band.
Yeah, Mel's having a really weird sensation because while she's as repulsed as Frizz is, she's also becoming intrigued by the puzzle.
Okay.
At this point, she's no longer just horrified at the apparent meaningless loss of life. She's starting to see it like it's a statistic.
Okay.
Mel, I tried to think on this, and I couldn't come up with anything. But is there some kind of pattern in the bodies that were left?
Yeah. Let me have a look at that. That's an interesting theory.
Are the same types of people left every time?
Well, on the first planet, it was older men. Yeah, Mel's going to see if there's any kind of logic to it. Before it was people whose bodies have been particularly mangled by sabers, so she's going to see if there's a pattern in the like level of intactness the remaining bodies have, or the types of people that the remaining bodies have.
Okay. You can take a really deep look, and you've seen enough planets that and you've seen enough destruction. I'm not even going to make you roll for this. That you can tell if these people that were defending and protecting their lives. And at one point you can figure out that these people were, standing their ground, using blaster rifles, using whatever they could to protect for whatever was coming for them.
Okay.
These are people that defended themselves
So
for whatever happened.
Non-combatants or just kind of citizens who may have surrendered are completely absent from casualties, but we're seeing, the more battle capable people have been taken down.
Especially at this last planet, with the 10,000 plus, because they do have a police type force and protection, you can tell that they are definitely dead. But like everyday citizens are no longer there.
Did the police type force leave any armor behind? That was not destroyed?
No.
Yeah,
and you can see the
much
destruction
less-
is getting bigger and bigger, and you can tell that it's not just like specific slicing of things. It's like, we're going to wreck this building and blow it up before we leave type thing now. You're finding explosions, but not blaster fire.
Okay. Mel's gonna head back to the ship, and she's
Okay.
gonna plot a couple of different sort of charts on the astrogation simulator, and look at if there's any kind of patterns with the array of planets they've been to, and that they were sort of expected to go to. I mean, obviously they're moving inward, but is there a logical next choice? Is there a very specific course being plotted?
You kick it in, and as soon as you get in, A7's already relaying the information to the Jedi Council. And you kind of look over it, and you don't see a true pattern. You just know that it's moving from the outer rim to inside. And all of a sudden, A7 goes, "Look at this," and he like pops up, and this map shows up, and he's like, "This is what the other people have found." And you see this large astrogation chart, and you're seeing these red planets pop up, and it's like everybody's inputting these planets where something has been destroyed. And it's not all the planets in there, but you can definitely see like this ring or globe, because it's a 3D, is like coming in. It's still quite large, but you can definitely tell that it's moving towards, after people start inputting all their stuff, you can see a blip, 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 blip. And you can see that it's moving from the furthest outreach that they have, and you can see it start moving in.
Is it coming from like kind of a side of the galaxy, or is it literally from all sides coming in?
All sides that you can tell.
Wow. The scope of this is unimaginable.
Correct. There's a lot. It's huge.
Yeah, Mel is overwhelmed by a sense of true dread for a few minutes. She's never encountered anything quite like this, or as existential in its threat.
Okay.
She just sort of takes a step back to kind of reel in the scope.
Okay. Yeah, this is a lot bigger than you thought it was. All of a sudden, while you're looking at the map, 4 little dots appear, and A7's like, "We need to go to these now."
Okay, let's go. Mel's gonna start.
Where are
She's
they
right
all
there.
going?
You can see that it's 4 more other planets that are closer in.
No. Gand is kind of an existential comment about where could you store all of those people.
Yes. That is something that is a very good question.
He has
That's
no
a
way of
question.
trying to answer that question. He just is shocked.
Yeah, in all of the books that she's ever read, Mel has never encountered something that could possibly even want to answer that question.
Yep.
She'll key in the astrogation coordinates as quickly as possible and head to the first planet indicated.
Okay. You keep going in. You're going to see the exact same thing on all 4 planets. The same writing, the same information. You notice that, and there's more and more people dead. By the 4th planet, I need everybody to make a fear check.
Oh, fear check.
This is what?
Cool.
Yes. And before you type anything completely, there will be a 3 purples and a red for this one, because it's really building on your psyche. Okay. You get to your last planet, and as soon as you stop there, you feel this, all of a sudden, this dread wash over you, as you can smell the death. You can see more bodies because more people are defending themselves. Definitely, Gand, you are super careful that you don't throw up within your suit. And you step down, you look around, and you immediately walk right back in the ship. Frizz and Mel, you both walk down, and you kind of instantly you feel that you know it's going to be there. You're not going to go look. It's too horrific to go on any further.
I don't need any more trauma.
And you think about the last one, because this is by the last one you're there. This is we're in the millions now.
Yeah, Mel really hoped that she'd get to this planet and find something different, or that the scope of the people could change what was being seen, but it's obviously that's not the case, and we're dealing with something almost unfathomable.
Yep.
She gets back on the ship and says, "I don't know what to do. I'm wholly outclassed by the situation.
Yeah.
I hope the council has some kind of a plan."
All right.
Frizz is going to point out, if we keep traveling the planets faster and faster, more towards the rim, I don't want to be on one before whatever this is comes to it.
A7's like, first time I actually agree with you, Frizz. I think it's time we go to a larger dock station. Melmick is actually needing us to pick up some stuff and pick him up from, what was it called? Eridu?
Mm-hmm.
And when we get there, we're supposed to pick him up and head back to Korriban. I think we've seen enough. There's nothing we can do. We need to prepare for whatever's coming and do some more research. Fuck the council.
Yeah, Mel feels very much the same way. She's going to collect all of the notes she's taken on the various writings, and she's going to focus on research. That's the best way she can contribute here.
All right. Y'all, I mean, I'm sure you're not going to stay here.
No.
Okay. And y'all head through hyperspace. Pretty much by the time you're done with all of this, it's probably been about a month or more since y'all have left off. It has definitely been a dreadful sight. It has been a problem. It has definitely put on your psyche. And these people that are doing this, or whoever's doing it, definitely are not caring. This is mass destruction, mass genocide at a huge level. You get there, and you head to Eridu, and you pull in, and A7's like, I'm not getting any communication at all.
Oh, God.
You land and pull out an atmosphere, and you come to this.
Oh, no. And Eridu was a planet with millions of people, right?
Correct.
My meat cooking friends.
You come in, and this is a smoldering planet. This, as you can tell, no one had any clue or any preparation. A7's like, we have to land and find out. This is unheard of.
I do not want to land.
He says, we need to get to the city area and find out what happened. There has to be a recording. This is too big of a city to this happen.
Well, and at this point, I mean, someone must have survived. I mean, the scale of destruction necessary to truly obliterate this planet is just unimaginable.
Yes. This is
It's not unheard of.
not unheard of, but it is. This is huge. A larger scale than you thought would have happened.
You aren't doing this with lightsabers.
No. This is
Fizz is going to ask A7, do you think Mayok was still on this planet, or did he have other missions as well?
we were supposed to meet him here and pick him up.
Oh, that's right. I wonder if he's here.
We'll probably need to find out. So you land. Is anybody going to stay on the ship, or is anybody going to go? Anybody not going, I should say.
No,
guess I'm
Mel
gonna
feels
go.
like she has to go at this point. Like,
Mhm.
she doesn't want to, but the sense of urgency is there.
It's an all or nothing. If there's something left here, or if the enemy is still here, they're gonna need my blaster,
Okay.
since those two don't have much in the way of offensive capabilities.
Okay. You land, And you get out, and you can just smell the death. You smell the destruction, the burning. You can definitely tell that this was a planet-wide destruction. This was not a simple hit an outer rim planet type destruction. These people were eradicated. You can tell that there was planetary bombardment with this one.
Friz is going to look around and see if she can maybe perceive if this is something that happened very recently or a little bit ago, like a couple weeks or maybe a couple days or hours, depending on how fresh the devastation looks.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I have it turned off so we can see the cool picture. Sorry.
It is very cool.
I did a lot of cool look for some really cool scenes for y'all. You look around. What did you say, Tim?
No, I mean, they're cool, but also horrifying.
That's kind of the purpose. You look around and you know this has been recent, but you're not exactly sure how recent. Definitely within a few weeks, probably.
Within a few weeks. Okay.
Necessarily less than a month, because we were here and it was a thriving metropolis.
Correct.
I'm going to point out to my party, this doesn't seem like it happened today, so I'm going to say that there probably isn't immediate threat within our vicinity.
Okay.
Okay.
You get down and get open, and A7 is like...
we each might want one of these, and I pass out the climbing kits, because this was a metropolis, and there might be all kinds of rubble we'll need to climb over.
Okay.
Thank you.
You get in. A7 is like, he's like, I found us a vehicle we could use that was stored to get us to the city area or to a communication panel that might help us out. And he's like, it's just a small little hovercraft to get you from point A to point B.
Okay.
He'll drive. You're driving through this city, and of course you're seeing much more larger amounts of dead. Burnt corpses, severed parts, you name it. And it's of all types of races. You can definitely tell that there was a mass planetary bombardment when this happened. And you eventually come to the place that you need to. You're visibly shaken, definitely pulling on that part of your brain that's like, how can this happen? Type thing. You get into the building, and A7 looks at you, Mel, and says, find out what happened.
Yeah, Mel's she's generally pretty horrified, and she's been kind of like with the group, kind of just staring blankly forward. But with that, she kind of clicks into gear, and she starts kind of taking notes, looking around, and really, really carefully trying to sort of put together a narrative. And she's gonna engage with the whatever she can find in
Okay.
terms of
It's just a terminal. I mean,
Yeah.
and you can plug in and get what you need to. You just need to see how much information you can gather from it.
probably a computer's check at this point.
Yes, definitely 100% computer check.
Can I assist with skullduggery in case there's any kind of security?
Yes, go ahead. Provide an assist roll with us. That's fine.
How do I do that?
You add a blue to his roll.
Okay, cool.
And is this 2 purples, or is it more difficult than that?
No, 2 purples is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you eventually. Gan's like, wait, watch out for this part. Watch out. Okay, there you go. And you click in, and you get a communication that seems to be the last before everything shut off. And it is a terrified voice of a man, definitely human. And you can just feel the pain and fear in his voice as he's screaming, we don't know how they got here. We don't know how they got this. Where did that thing come from? It came from nowhere, and it's firing. and that's all you hear from that communication.
And there's no visual record. It's just the audio recording.
Just the audio. Go for another terminal access roll. See if you can dig. The difficulty is going to go up to 3 purples now.
Does the skullduggery assistance help at all?
Yes, it will help.
Okay.
Because you're actually trying to crack code from inside. Good job. You click in, you're able to get past the next set of security codes. And you hear this, and it's like, and you notice that this is not from the section that you're in, it's from another part of the planet. Who are these people? What are they doing here? Why do they have sabers? And then all of a sudden you hear blaster fire, and they're getting through, and it cuts out from there.
This is an incredibly well organized group of people whose scale is unlike anything I've ever seen before. I mean, even in the writings I've done about the Empire and their rise to power, there were so many clues and such a long lead time before you'd see an attack of this kind of magnitude. I have no idea what force could organize this quickly in this.
You hear A7. Yeah, Turk. Yes, I'll let him know. Turk is, so we need to get it back on the ship. We need to come back to Korriban as soon as possible.
I'm more than happy to leave this place.
Okay. He's like, yeah, we don't know if he's here or not. He's not communicating. He most likely is dead, Turk. Yeah. Okay. And you see him turn off and it's like, let's go home.
Fizz is going to lean over to Gon and say, I think he's talking about Mayok.
No,
That would be the logical conclusion.
You're welcome.
Mel will just let a little smile come across her face. Before they leave the planet, she's just going to kind of, like...
Oh, you haven't even got out of the building yet.
Okay. Before we get out of the building, she's just going to kind of take a second and... I mean, she doesn't have any force training or any kind of ability beyond just a natural sensitivity. But she's just going to kind of let her sort of feelings slip past her. There's been an enormous amount of death here, but if there's any sense of life or any kind of remnant of the person that she's met, she's going to see if she can feel it.
Okay. All you feel as the emotions wave over you is this is just mass death. If you knew that if either one of you were more attuned to the Force, you definitely would have felt this before it happened, or as it happened.
Well, for the first time ever, Mel's going to be grateful she has only the limited Force understanding she does.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all get out of the building, get back into the hovercraft, and start heading away. Make a perception roll. Only 2 purples.
Still with that threat.
All right.
Can you use a fate point after you roll?
No. You roll, and you kind of look around, and y'all are still on edge, and that's the reason why it's kind of shrieking you out a bit or tripping you out, and why you're kind of not seeing this until it's a little too late. And all of a sudden, you hear this shriek of, like, death screaming. It is so ear-piercing. It is so scary. It is so soul-shattering that everybody needs to make a fear check.
This is soul-shattering. Fear check.
How many purples is it?
This is actually going to be 2 purples and a red.
I'm scared.
Okay. First bit, you actually took the worst of it. Everybody failed their fear check. You both, all three of you turn around, and even A7's like, he goes, "We're leaving." And you turn around, and you see this humanoid form dressed in fully black composite armor from head to toe, and black cloak, and black, I mean, just like the darkest of night, but the metal is shiny. And all of a sudden, you hear the scream come from him, and he lights up these two sabers. And when they light up, they're not just red, they're like a black, it's like the light has gone out type red. It's like a blood style type red.
They're like a black hole.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
But it does have a red tinge to the outside of it. The inside is very dark and black, but the outside is is still a dark blood style type red. And you hear this piercing scream. And then A7's like, "We're getting out of here." And he pushes the button, and he starts to drive off. And you see this creature, humanoid shape, leap through the air towards you.
By the way, Gand is so terrified by that sound, he's just going to start firing his gun.
Okay. You may go ahead and fire if you would like. You will definitely have a difficulty of 3 purples and a red at this point to be shaken and for what this person's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot, but as soon as you shoot, you see these sabers come in and pop down and hit 2 of the blasters, and one of them hits your vehicle.
Oh.
And you can see he's about to land on the vehicle as he's coming down. You each have 1 action until he gets there.
Yeah. Mel's gonna just turn on the lightsaber and just kind of hold as defensive a stance as she can.
Okay.
Fizz is super shaken, but she is going to access her center of being as best as she can and use a fate point to try to shoot this thing because she does not want to die.
Okay.
That is 2 purples and a red.
Yes, but you get a blue because you used the fate point.
Okay. Oh, come on.
You hit, and as soon as he comes down, you can definitely tell he blocks it with no problem. But it it's a well solid hit that he flips before he gets onto the craft and kind of slides back, and you hear him scream again. And A7's like, looks back.
Why are you looking back?
Shit. And you see him, he's like, you can just see him pushing as many buttons, and he's like, throw everything off. Not frizz, but everything off.
Yeah, Mel's gonna dump whatever supplies and stuff. She'll hang on to her pathetic training lightsaber and her notes about the writings, but basically everything else she's just bailing off the vehicle as quickly as possible.
I'm throwing chairs. I'm like ripping up the...
All right, you're sitting there doing that. He kind of stands back up, and of course you're moving at a much faster pace, but you see him, and he's like leaping and flying through the air. Definitely you can tell that he's using some type of force jumping and sliding around and getting through, kind of like if a Jedi had parkour.
Oh my god, a hardcore parkour Jedi.
Well, that's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
And sabers are coming on and off as he's doing it, and he would and when he's flipping, he'll flip and he'll turn them on to cut down a beam or something that's in his way before he gets to it, so he doesn't slam into it.
Somebody throw chairs at him.
Yeah, Mel's gonna again adopt that defensive stance, hold her lightsaber, at the ready, assuming at some point this supernatural creature is going to catch up with them. She's terrified, but she's doing her best to be the stalwart force for good right before she gets cut down.
Okay. Before we go any further, does everybody have about 15 or so more minutes that we are good for?
Yeah. I'm good for another 15.
Okay. I know we like to stop around 8 or so, but we kind of started late, and I want to kind of get this finished up, and I want to kind of get the next part because it'll actually start us on the true story. You sit there, and A7 is pushing it, and eventually you do but you know that this guy is near behind you. And you get to the spaceship. A7's like, get the hell on. And you, for a robot, he seems pretty agile as he leaps out of the ship.
Yeah, Mel's gonna scramble on as quickly as she can, not worried about her own personal safety or anything other than just getting on there as quickly as possible.
Okay. You get on, no problem.
Yeah, Gand is running for the ship, and like as soon as he's in the ship, he's running for the cockpit.
Yeah, well, you notice that the ship is already on, and actually the only thing that's touching the ground is the plank. The landing gear is already up. Y'all jump on, get on, and as soon as the hatch just starts to close, you see this whatever it is that has been chasing you, come in and throw both the sabers at the door, and fully lit, just throwing them at you. And the door closes right as the two sabers hit and actually poke through, and then you can tell that they turn themselves off and fail.
Ooh.
Well, Mel's gonna see what she can do mechanically in terms of patching what could turn into a leak into space. But in the meantime, hopefully the pilots are taking care of getting this ship off this planet.
Okay. You can tell the ship's already started moving, and it's already been planned. A7 throws you this canister gun, Mel. It says patch those holes.
She jumps right into it, working as quickly as she can to use her mechanical engineering training and her many hours of shop work.
Okay. No roll is needed. You pretty much know how this works. This is pretty much a common knowledge type thing. Cool. And you have plenty of time, so there's not anything that you need to worry about. And you get it patched up. It's going to take you about 2 days to get back to Korriban. So if there's anything you want to do particular, let me know before we jump into the last part of the adventure.
Gand would like to meditate for those 2 days to try and calm the fuck down.
Okay.
I know that we're... Sorry.
Having seen this being, this creature, or this force user in person, is Mel able to contextualize any Jedi lore understanding or get any more information about it?
Go and give me some rolls. Definitely 2 purples, a red, and a black right now.
Okay. That sounds like probably no, but I like that you're letting me roll the dice.
I always will let you roll the dice. I'm just going to tell you that there is a huge negative. You're like, I don't know what that is, but that was damn scary.
Correct. Yes.
You're like charting all this information and making sure you're documenting really well. That's what your 3 bonuses for, is a great documentation done, but you have no clue what this is.
Good field research, bad practical experience.
Correct. About the end of day 1 on your trip back, A7's like, they finally deciphered what that writing was. Turk comes on and is like, you need to get home now.
What did the writing say?
We're coming home.
I hope their home is the same home as our home is home.
Well, I hope our home's not in the way of their home.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Well, that's terrifying and haunting, but ultimately a kind of a clue.
Okay. All right. Anybody gonna do anything the second day?
Fizz is eating her emotions the second day.
Okay.
And is continuing to meditate on his emotions the second day.
Mel's kind of lost in her books again. She's going to still continue to contemplate whether there's a connection between the kind of ancient Jedi that she like knew about or understood about, or ancient Force users, and what she saw or has experienced so far. Still not really making any connections, but feeling relieved to be at least looking into it.
Okay. You get back, and as soon as you come in the atmosphere, something's not right. What you thought, usually it's pretty bustling and busy, but there's a lot of moving going on. As in, things are being packed up.
Oh.
And you can
I don't have
see
anything.
big ships are being taken off. And you land, and Turk is right there. He's like, get into the council right now.
Okay. Mel's going to collect all of her paperwork, and she's going to head straight there.
Okay. And like A7, you're like running to where you need to go. You can tell that this looks like a mass evacuation. This is not...
Is this one allowed in the council?
Yes.
I go with them.
Yes.
Standard rules for protocol are not in effect.
Correct. They're sitting there, and you can tell like half of the council's not even there. I mean, not even like 20% is there. They're sitting there, and they're not even in their seats. They're down at this huge table, and they're like, "You go here. You go here. You here. You take these people and go that direction. You take these people and go that direction." And Turk walks up, and he's like, "I got him." And you see one of the council members, and he's like, "Here, take this and keep it safe." And they give you this box.
Okay. Mel takes the box.
And it's like a chest. I would just say more in a box. It's like a chest.
Okay. She takes half of the box.
Okay. I mean, it's actually able to be levitated. I should be a little bit more descriptive. It's a large chest, but it is a levitation type device that you can move it pretty easy.
Okay.
And he's like,
do you want any of our findings, or what do we do?
there's no time. Get off the planet. And all of a sudden, you hear this large explosion go off. Gand, make a perception roll.
No threat.
No threat. It's a first. Remember those blueprints that you were meaning to send?
Yeah.
That could have came from that direction.
Okay.
Well, I don't have to send them blueprints anymore. I'm out of that. I'm off that hook.
And all of a sudden, the planet and the buildings start to shake. And you
Okay,
can feel something, of course, is happening all over around you. Now, where you were living on Korriban, this is not, the whole planet's not taken up. It's, a secluded Jedi area type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it is still a larger type city, not like a Coruscant, but, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 type people. Mostly Jedi or Jedis in training. Okay.
But certainly, like, if we're grading on the scale of combatants or non-combatants, like, that's 6,000 or 7,000 people who can hold their own in a fight, and they're all evacuating right now.
Yes.
Like, we should get out of here.
Yes.
Yes. Run.
So Mel's gonna guide the levitation chest back toward the ship, but she's moving at a brisk pace, as quickly as she can move this item.
Okay.
Before we leave Turk, I'm going to remind him he owes me money.
Turk's looking at you, go, shut up, Gand, and move.
No, I'm running while I'm saying this, but just to remind him.
Okay. You're running outside, and as soon as you come outside the main temple, it hits you. You see people dropping from ships that are hovering above, and you see people just jumping from ships. Sabers lit. The blackest red as they are landing like paratrooper types. And you hear saber combat all around you.
Okay. Mel's trying not to marvel at the tactical ingenuity of what's occurring, which would be interesting if she was reading about it in a book, but instead is just terrifying. And she rushes toward the ship as quickly as possible. She radios to A7. We're trying to get out of here as quickly as possible. If you can start up the ship, we're ready to go.
All done. Get on.
Yeah.
You start to run back, and Turk is with you. You know, trying to get with you. And all of a sudden, you're probably like maybe 100 yards from the ship, getting on, and all of a sudden, 4 figures drop in front of you, and they're not holding typical double or dual. They're holding pikes.
Oh.
And they're lit with a saber. Turk's like, there's no way. And all of a sudden he lights a saber. And he's like, whatever happens, get your ass on that ship and get the hell out.
Oh no. I mean, Mel's gonna take advantage of the distraction that he's making and his effort to sacrifice, and she's gonna just try to rush around these pike-wielding people, and she's gonna try to guide this chest as quickly as possible.
Okay. You start to move, and all of a sudden, as soon as you start to move, Turk force leaps up and engages these guys right away. You see him pull out his one saber, and then he's got the small miniature, which is what you saw Yoda use, the Shanto, or how it's pronounced, and it's kind of like a dagger saber, pretty much is what it is, and starts going to town. These guys are matching him, no problem, and you can tell that this is a fight for the ages. You actually kind of get distracted every so often as you see them perform feats that you would only imagine during combat.
I mean, Mel is like one part Marvel, one part horror as she like rushes toward the ship. But she's looking over her shoulder. She's impressed. Lightsaber combat is her favorite thing.
He's definitely holding his own, but you can tell that it's taking some time. It's wearing him down. He's got them actually repositioned. You can tell that this was more of a position move than a kill, to put them where his back is towards y'all and the ship, and they're on the other side. Leaping away, pulling the sabers out, blocking, dodging, flipping, force pushing. And then all of a sudden you see Turk hit, and he does like a saber hilt stroke on one of the faces, and you see that creature's face snap back really hard, but pull back, and the helmet is off. Perception check, standard difficulty.
Ooh. Nope.
Fizz and Gand. Mel, you're just like, this is too cool not to watch type thing. You're just too
by saber fighting.
Gand and Frizz. Frizz, you don't know what this face is, but this is something. You see this red skin and these long spikes or tentacles or flesh hanging down from it, and sharp teeth, but it's all dark red. And Gand, it rolls off your tongue. It rolls off your mouth like a poison as you say the word, the Sith race.
Ugh. And
Turk looks back at you as he's doing this, and 6 more guys land around him. And he looks back and says,
fools.
hide. Don't come back. And all of a sudden, these sabers all go into him.
No.
And slice into his body, all pretty much with precision strike. And you can see that he's just standing there, and his sabers turn off. They drop out of his hand. And he's like, go.
Well, we're not going to waste that exit. Mel rushes onto the ship as quickly as possible, pushing the crate. tears streaming down her face. I mean, this is the first being of her own race who's been anything but horrible to her, and she just watched him die at the hands of some horrible monster race.
Okay. A7 is pretty much launching y'all off as soon as possible. You're receiving blaster fire as you get out. Nothing that you're going to have to do repairs when you're done. But you eventually get out and hit into hyperspace. As you look back before you hit into the loop, you can see that there's mass destruction, and you see nothing but a ton of red sabers being used all over the place. And all of a sudden, you're seeing, other Jedi sabers that were being used, and just every so often you see it go out. Go out.
Oh, God.
Go out. Go out. Go out. Go. And it's just like, it's like the lights being diminished wherever you see a group of red, and you see other sabers just disappear and being turned off. And A7 hits it.
More worried right now about what's happening in front of us.
Yes. You and him are scrambling, and he's like, "I've got these coordinates. Just don't let us die."
Piloting. Something I'm good at.
I'm waiting for that one threat.
You could use a fate point if you have to.
You do have a fate point to use.
Yep, I'm
Don't
gonna
mess
use
this
the
up.
light side point.
Use that light side point. You sit there and you're trying to pilot it, and you like turn in, and you're like, no, and all of a sudden this blaster fire comes right up above you, and you look, and there's this huge capital ship, and you turn it just as the last second as it starts hitting parts of the planet where the communication arrays were last at, and you're able to hit hyperspace and get out. And this is where we're going to end.
Frizz had a crush on him, and now he's dead.
Do you remember when it was nice and there was no just death all the time?
Okay, let me go and wrap up, and we'll do some after. Let's do some after chatter, guys. That's going to be the end of the game session for today. This was completely story driven. I didn't want to do anything, and I've been building up to this, but I wanted to do it a little bit quicker than normal, so we kind of did a little bit quicker, because I want to get to the true meat and the heart of this story. So you're going to be back when we come back, which we're off next week, guys, if anybody's listening, and we'll be back the week after that, most likely.
I'm going to be actually in your neck of the woods, Gonzo, that Wednesday, so I won't be near my character sheet and stuff.
Okay, I can get you one and print it off, or you can just do it online before you leave. I'll give you the XP before you leave then, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And we'll be back to play then, and we'll pick up where it is, and we will do a small time jump. Not long, maybe about a month worth of time. So you can digest what has happened. This is going to be the end of technically episode 1. The prologue. And now we're going to get into the meat of the story, guys. I'm going to cut off Twitch because I don't want to spoil anything for our listeners.
Yeah.